Good morning, everyone. How are you guys doing? What's going on? And welcome to episode 17 of Merchants of Novigrad, a bi-weekly podcast where we discuss everything went. Today with me, my two partners in crime, Hesser and Villa. And as you guys can see, we have a very special guest, a longtime member of the community, longtime member of Team Artusa, a D&D freak, and as of late, also the community specialist with CD Projekt Red, Ryan Godric. How are you guys doing? What's going on?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. We were waiting for this episode. Oh, really? We were waiting. Like, the moment they said Ryan is joining the team, I was like, oh, I know this guy. But before we actually get into it, a few words to our viewers. Guys, if you have any questions, you can ask them in chat. We'll try to pick the more interesting ones and answer them as we go. Also, if you like to stay in touch off stream, you can follow us on Twitter at Novigrad Podcast. And if YouTube or Spotify are the platforms where you would rather watch or listen to this episode, it's going to be uploaded onto these websites and a couple more actually, a few hours after the live stream. And with that being said, I think it's time to go to the first segment of our podcast, which is what have you been up to? I think we are going to start with our guest, Ryan. How are things? How are the first few months at the job?
Oh, a lot of things happening. I don't know. The last 2 months have basically just flown by, and I enjoy work really a lot. Obviously, I get to work with really cool people, really nice people, and with a great community. And that makes my job very easy because I know a lot of people in the community. Coming from the community, so I know how to talk to people, who I want to talk to, and I think for me it's a lot easier to understand the sentiment coming from the community and see, okay, where do we want to improve that the community feels more respected, for example. And other than that, I'm still living in Germany, Cologne, but I'm ready to move to Warsaw and join the team once we're all back in the studio. Until then, I think right now, obviously, is a great time as a community manager because we're doing this reveal campaign once again. And it's a lot of fun to work with the people from the community because everybody's really hyped for the next expansion. And there's a whole lot of positivity going around. So things are good, really good. Oh, and one last thing. If anybody in the chat thinks that one of us is too quiet or too loud, please tell us before we end the stream.
Oh god. Moving on. Because you are not the only person working on many Gwent related projects. Hesser, not too long ago you actually got back to streaming Gwent, and in no time you got involved in how many projects? 5, 6?
Yeah, I wouldn't count that much, but yeah, probably like 3 or 4, I think, apart from streaming, obviously, and then like creating my own community, let's say, around the channel, moving into the podcast, obviously, as well, and casting the tournament that TLG is going to organize in July, I think, right? I'm going to cast it for the Polish version, let's say, for the Polish community. So this is going to be a completely new one. So a lot of going on actually with IRL stuff being difficult as well with coronavirus and reopening the business, which is extremely difficult as well right now. It's been a rough time, but I'm enjoying most of it. So I hope it's going to stay that way.
All right. Because there's also some other things that you did not mention. You are still translating for CDPR, and we could actually hear you during the last tournament.
Oh yeah, that's right. Actually, I forgot about the most important part. Actually, I guess I like got used to it so much that it's like the part of my life right now. It's not like a new project, but this is a continuation, and I'm really happy that I have this opportunity, obviously. And that last open was something different, right? Because we ran it online, but we're going to talk about that in the next segment. So Ryan is gonna make a close-up on that project as well.
Absolutely.
Talk about more about the backstage. So if you also guys have any questions about that, make sure to ask them, and Ryan will answer.
Hopefully.
Every single one.
But speaking of tournaments, Villa, you actually made it to the qualifiers once again. How was the grind?
It's good, tiring as well, but I made it through. So
Yeah, I can see it. I have a feeling that you were actually grinding last night as well.
Nah. That's not. Last night was something different.
Okay. But to get the mood a little bit up, I think we can move to the next segment, which is what's happening in Gwent. And there is a lot of happening in Gwent, starting with the expansion that got us a little bit off guard because some people believed it's actually gonna be released. It was going to be released last week and wasn't. Now we have this huge review campaign. Everyone is hyped. Everyone is talking about it. Everyone is talking about the evolving cards, about the reviews, about everything involving the expansion. I remember even before the trailer went on, when live, I was like, okay, is this gonna be about the conjunction of the spheres? Is this gonna be about Dagon? People were really, really involved. But before we talk more about that, I think we can actually show the trailer once again. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Ah, hello. No, I fear this is no dream, my friend. Didn't actually think I would forget about you, did you? Me, who with but a whisper can swell a wave. Start a chain of events with consequences momentous. No, I never forget. And it's high time to pay the piper.
I think the most interesting part is that nobody, upon seeing the background, thought it's underwater. Everyone thought there's some fog and these people are being pulled out into the air, and it's actually underwater. I was like, what? No way.
Yeah, it's a good trailer. I really like it because it's all been done in-house. So we've all I know the people that worked on it, and I think there was a lot of energy that went into creating it. And obviously, it's like the original voice actor of Gaunter. So I think for people that played the Witcher expansions and just enjoy the game in general, I think I don't know, it's just really immersive. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think we all enjoyed it. One thing that I somehow missed, and I think it's the first trailer when you guys haven't done this, there is no gameplay footage. Normally there is at least a few seconds of gameplay showcasing new cards or abilities. Now we haven't seen it. Is that intentional?
Yeah, we might get to see something today, but we'll find out. We'll find out,
guys. We'll find out. As the man just said. But and that's a question for everyone. What are your overall expectations? Because as I said, I think that the theme of Gaunter Odim caught everyone off guard. Nobody was really expecting it. There was a lot of different ideas and even conspiracies as to what it might be. I think everyone was surprised by the actual theme of this expansion. So your overall take?
Oh yeah, like people are thinking about Dagon at the beginning as well, right? About conjunction of the spheres. So many theories, so many cool theories actually. The conjunction one was actually pretty logical, so that made a lot of sense. But I think the biggest hope for me would be that the meta will just completely reshape and change, and we're gonna see like new archetypes, completely new decks. The evolving cards, for example, that were leaked as well, are going to completely change the whole picture of the game, hopefully. So yeah, it's going to be a totally different game from now again.
I think that's the best part about Gwent, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
yeah, exactly.
Villa, what do you think as a competitive player? Are you looking forward to this expansion?
Yeah. Like very much so indeed. Like the ladder's been quite the same for half a year now, so I'm more than happy to get to play with those new cards. So something refreshing at least comes up. I don't have to play against the same decks like over and over.
Oh yeah, I've even seen people saying that for the first time ever they got into seasonal because the ladder has been so stale. I think McBeard said that in one of his recent tweets. I'm not sure though. But compared to the previous expansions, because if you guys remember, Merchants of Fear just dropped out of nowhere. There was no marketing involving the expansion. There was no review campaign. Just the day we expected a regular patch, we get a full expansion. So compared to that, Master Mirror seems to be marketing done right. Like we have all this hype involving the expansion. We have a proper campaign. We have all these dates where new content is going to drop or is going to be revealed. So what's your take on this new approach when it comes to promotion? I think Ryan can shed some more light on how this decision was being made.
Well, sure, yeah. I wasn't with the company when Merchants of Fear dropped, so I don't know like the thoughts behind it too much. And I know that the team was really happy when I joined, because not only was I able to bring new ideas to the table, but also just lift some weight off their shoulders so they can be a bit more free with their ideas. Because I think the team is very, very interested in always being creative and using new ways to promote stuff. It's just when you have a lot of work and just one thing after the other you need to get through the day, you really rarely find time to sit down and brainstorm what you could do for something new. So, for example, this time around we did the YouTube premiere on Wednesday as well. So that was something new Gwent never did before, and Boja was really happy because he at least could make sure that the video was what it was supposed to be. There was no downtime in the dev stream sometimes when they talk, and sometimes I don't know, it's not 100% interesting until we were able to cut it a little bit and put some effects over it and then put it to YouTube, and still everybody could watch it live together, and also Boja and the whole team could watch it live, see the reactions live of the people in the chat. So that was really cool. And then I don't know, just stuff like playing around with the new Twitter feature and not allowing people to reply to a tweet, and these kind of small things, I think make the community team in our company really happy, because we are a bit more hands-on now with the campaign. And there were some crazy ideas for this campaign that I can't reveal yet, because we might use them for a future campaign. But this is not all, basically.
You still have some tricks up your sleeve.
Exactly, some aces.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
And Ville Hesser, how is your reaction towards this campaign? Because as I already said a couple of times, I'm super hyped. I love review campaigns.
Oh yeah, the community reveal is something absolutely bonkers. I love it, and I hope that I'm going to take part in it as well and reveal one of the cards.
No pressure, Ryan. No pressure.
Just saying. And I love the ideas. I think that actually Ryan brought most of these ideas, because I loved, for example, the Shoop takeover on Twitter. That was masterfully done, and that was a great idea as well. Apart from the premiere, obviously the pre-recorded premiere with the obvious advantages like cutting stuff, right, adding some additional effects, and devs being able to actually watch people's reactions to it and interact with the crowd, let's say, was awesome. So I would say that was probably one of the best marketing campaigns up till now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like Villa is very eager to talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy that content creators, get to showcase these new cards once again. Obviously, makes the relationship between content creators and CDPR better. So yeah, I'm happy for them. I honestly don't expect anything for myself. Not even but you know, Brian, if you can hook me up, I'm more than happy. You know.
You know.
I think you need to be a partner first.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's
Get
fine.
to
Taking no offense at all. But I think we actually have a question about the content creators, right? Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, so speaking of content creators being able to reveal the cards, are there like any specific channels we should pay attention to? And do you have like anyone in mind for the nearest future? What are the next reveals are gonna happen? Could you tell us a bit more about that, Ryan?
I mean, I did plan, and I've compiled a list of people. This time around, we don't have that many cards to reveal by the content creators because we've got a couple of things lined up for, like, from ourselves. Like, for example, the first reveal stream had, I think, 7 cards we revealed. Then there's a few. Well, on the website you can already see there's a few beats showcasing the new, let's say, the new factions, or no, the old factions getting new things. And we obviously promote that ourselves as well. So I try to focus on very new and, well, not new, but I think a bit smaller content creators out there that still have shown a lot of support to the community and to the company. And so I reached out to our local community managers and asked them, hey, who do you think, for example, from Korea deserves a community reveal, because they've worked so hard over the last couple of months or years, and same thing for all the other regions. And I try to handpick with the community managers the best people supporting us and the community. And obviously we have some long time people like, I'd say, faction ambassadors that supported us for a while, so they will help out with the reveals. But there will be a reveal today. I'm pretty sure about that. Might pop up on screen here anytime. So be ready. And other than that, I can tell you that much. I would try to keep the reveals to during the weekdays. So everybody has something to look forward to, and on the weekend we can discuss the things. But today we couldn't wait with the Nilfgaard reveal. So yeah, I think we'll be able to see something more today.
That's awesome. Yeah, we already seen actually some of the things that we are about to see with you guys. So yeah, I can tell that you're gonna like it.
Oh yeah,
obviously.
But one thing I wanted to ask is, how difficult is it to actually organize a campaign like this? Because as you already said, you have different local communities, not only the, let's say, English-speaking world within Gwent. So how difficult is it to actually create a list of creators that would be able to review cards? Because I had a look at the partners Discord. A lot of people want to review a card.
Sure. And I know for a fact that there will be people that will feel like they deserve a card reveal and they won't get one, because I've been in the same spot. Like, I've been a community member and I wanted to reveal a card in the past, and I got in contact with CPR as a streamer, as a content creator, and I thought, hey man, come on, I've been here for so long, I think I deserve a card reveal as well. And they said, yeah, sure. And then I didn't get one for that expansion. I got one for the next one. But I was really happy. I think I revealed a card for Iron Justice, the Redanian Knights back in the days. Iron Judgment, yeah. I always mix them up. But so I know there will be people disappointed, but I try to, I don't know, do the best with communication and explain them, hey, this time around I'm trying to focus on people that never had a reveal before. A few very specific key points, like, for example, supporting long-time shows, like, for example, this show here, Words of Novigrad. So it's very difficult to be precise and also just make choice. Okay, I'm sorry, but you won't get a card. But the good thing is, I'm very optimistic when it comes to the future of Gwent. So there will be many more expansions and many more reveal campaigns. So I think if you didn't get one this time around, there's a good chance you might get one next time. And I think for the long run, everybody will be happy if they stick to Gwent. But yeah, it's definitely a hard task to choose.
Oh yeah, and can people actually make their case? Because from what I've seen, most people just say, okay, this is my name, I'm doing this and that, I would like to review a card. But is it possible to actually explain why you are the right person to review a card? Because I think that's how it worked in my case. That was also before Iron Judgment. I made a very, very specific wish, and I explained to Mateusz back then why I think I'm the right person to review the card, and I got that card. Is it also how it works with you as the community specialist right now? Can somebody just talk to you, say, Ryan, I'm doing this kind of content, I think I'll be the right person to review this kind of card?
I think this is the last thing I want to confirm, is that if they pressure me enough, they get a card. But on the other hand, of course, there's been people that there are people that reached out to me and said, hey, look, I've been doing this is how I would present the card and these kind of things. So of course they sway your opinion, but in the end, especially this time around, I try to focus on a few different aspects. Like, for example, have you had a card before? Are you part of the community for a while? Do you like the regional community managers that observe your region think you deserve the card and these kind of things? But in general, sure, you can reach out to me, but be sure that it's not guaranteed, of course.
Oh yeah, of course. I think the more specific your case, the less of a chance is that you're gonna get the card, because obviously it must be difficult for you to decide which content creator is gonna get which card. Because you guys probably have your own schedule. Like, we want to reveal this card on this specific day to kind of fit the overall theme. And the theme that we've seen the last couple of days have been the Doomed cards. Neutral and Doomed, and I think with that being said, it's illegal clock, guys.
Ooh.
I think we have a card to review right now. So there it is. Will of the Wisp. A special neutral, 5 provisions, destroy a doomed unit. Ryan, can you tell us something more about the card, about how it came to be? How did you guys select the ability for this specific card?
Well, so far we've only really revealed neutral cards, apart from the original opening stream, where we showed a few more. But as you can see, that most of them are playing around with the new keyword, either Veil or Doomed. Doomed obviously is not new, but we really wanted to get away from, at least when I talk with the game designers, they don't want Doom to be like a new poison thing or just a neutral poison that anyone can tech, but a bit more of a niche case tech situation. But I think we'll see how it plays out when it goes live and everybody can play with the decks. Obviously, we're also playing and testing right now and see how the interactions work. But I think it's an interesting support to the, let's say, Doomed archetype. And I think with Doomed, it's not about dooming a unit and destroying it, but it's more about, okay, how can I deny the opponent value by dooming this specific card they would want to? For example, like in Skellige. Skellige has a lot of cards that want to come back from the graveyard. So if you doom them, that's a lot of counterplay. But yeah, I'm interested to see how the community reacts.
Oh yeah, speaking of Skellige, this is a nice counter against anything that's been brought back to the board with Freya's Blessing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just one of the possible counters. I think Villa might have more of an opinion on this card as a competitive player.
That's fine. It seems fine. It could be good in a tournament setting, but for ladder, I think it's gonna be a way too random to just put in your deck. But we'll see. We'll see how effective it's gonna be.
One question that I wanted to ask is, because we've seen a lot of interesting cards already. Like as you can see, people kind of struggle with the idea of Doom being a thing now. Like we had a couple of cards that were being Doom. We had a card that actually interacted with the status with down to Redeem, and indirectly also Vincent van Morlehem. So my question will be, will we also see some rework, some rebalance changes when it comes to this expansion? Kind of fit all these new cards better into the existing state of Gwent.
Well, okay, so on the one side, I think the neutral cards obviously are being shown first right now, and I think it's been said before that neutrals are not supposed to be the only choice, or that you have to include neutrals into your deck, which is why we also have this new keyword that we already revealed, like Devotion, saying you can't have any neutral cards or any other faction cards. You need to be only inside your faction in your deck to activate these Devotion effects. But yeah, when it comes to balance changes, there will be balance changes with the next update or the next expansion. So on the 30th, we will see some changes. And I think there will also be some minor tweaks to existing cards to just adapt them to the new expansion. But I can't really say a lot about the scope, but it's definitely more than just 2 or 3 cards getting a number change.
That's really nice. That's a major league, guys. And I see Hester smiling there in the corner, just probably having an opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, we got a question from the chat as well about that, right? Are there any plans on buffing neutral cards like Triss, Telekinesis, Eskel, and others, right? And that was exactly the answer to that, basically, or at least the glimpse of the answer. So yeah, I mean, like, I really want to know what are your favorite keywords revealed so far from the new expansion, because personally, I really like the comeback of the veteran keyword, which was one of my favorites from the beta as well. It used to be pretty actually bonkers during that time. It was really strong in Skellige decks, and I wonder how it's going to end up this time. It feels much better for now. There is no like strengthening right anymore, so there is not going to be reviving super strong units last round, probably. But what do you think about that, guys?
I think veteran used to be a very dangerous tool.
Oh yeah,
It was an ability. It was a keyword that could easily get out of hand. I like this approach because how it's gonna work now is it's going to strengthen a little bit next round, and then round 3 as well.
yeah, exactly.
And there is no way to influence it, right, Ryan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just wondering. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't also the old veteran something like if this card goes to the graveyard or something strengthened by 1, so you could do it multiple times, or was it only specific to the rounds? I'm not sure anymore, to be honest. Well, I know that Jason and the team was very yeah, the Tursek. Right. It was a specific card.
Yeah.
That did that. But yeah, no, Jason and the team was very careful with implementing this keyword again, because obviously it was a bit problematic in the past. So you can expect it to be a bit less oppressive than it was in the past. And also, I think the scope of cards that have veterans is going to be a lot smaller than also the past.
And guys, veterans is not the only keyword that's being added to the game. You also talked about devotion. We have symbiosis. We have conspiracy, echo, and rapture. Can we expect some more keywords being revealed in the upcoming days, or is that it?
No, I think the keywords that were revealed are all the new keywords. There's definitely a few things that I think nobody expects right now to be revealed, but when it comes to specifically the keywords, we decided to reveal everything at the start. And I think also with the changed approach of having these beats and revealing the expansion well, let's say faction by faction, not 100%, but in a more general scope. I think that's especially to target the people that want to analyze the new cards, because in the past it was really difficult to evaluate the cards, saying, okay, we don't know what the support for this keyword is, we don't know what the other cards are with this keyword and how they support each other. So now I think if we reveal them more closer to each other, it's a bit more an easier time to evaluate and theory craft already for the next expansion.
And what is the overall thought behind these keywords? Because some of them obviously make a lot of sense, and some, based on the cards that we've already seen, don't. For example, I was talking a lot about conspiracy. For example, you could basically avoid adding a new keyword by saying, if the unit is spying. For example, you have the angry mob and it says deploy damage a unit by 2, and conspiracy boosts self by 2. And you could basically avoid adding a new keyword by saying, if that unit is spying, boosts self by 2. I think we already have similar descriptions existing in Gwent.
Yeah, that's true. I think the whole spying and loyal and non-loyal situation got a little bit out of hand. So the team actually decided to tackle it with this expansion, and it's a bit of a rework of the whole name situation. So now one thing is a keyword and the other one is a status. So I think the well, I would have to check that, but so I don't want to get this wrong now on stream live. But where is it? 1 second.
It's okay, we can always issue a statement afterwards.
Yeah.
I want to get it right from the start. Yeah, I'll check in a second and then I'll let you know. But one is a status. I think spying is actually the status, and disloyal is the keyword, something. So if it says disloyal on your card in the tooltip, that means it's going to be played on the other side of the board. And when it appears on the other side of the board, it gets the spying status on the card.
Okay.
So I think that because before spying was like keyword and status in one, which made it a bit more difficult for cards saying if this card is not spying, because then you didn't know, was it the keyword or was it the status, and it made the situation a bit more complicated. And now I think it's the same for conspiracy. We just want to have it clear on the card exactly what it means. And obviously in Gwent you can hover above the tooltips and then it reads on the side what exactly this tooltip stands for and the keyword. So I think it's a bit more user-friendly, and it might take a few days for people to get used to and inherit the change, but I think once people get used to it, it's a lot more comfortable and easy.
Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the situations that highlighted the issue of complexity between statuses and keywords is the journey quests. Because every single week I see questions about words like destroy, and apparently in that specific quest you guys meant destroy specifically. It has to say destroy and not just kill a random unit with like any card that deals damage.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something we took away from this first round of journey quests, I would say. I think we will have to see how, in general, with in-game quests, we can make it a bit more clearer to the player. Like, for example, showing the keyword that is needed, so people can hover over it and see, okay, the card needs to have that keyword. Or I don't know. Like, we're still crafting ideas to how to make these quests more intuitive and more easy to understand. But it's definitely a good critique and good point that we need to enhance.
Yeah, and another kind of follow-up question, because you were talking a little bit about spies and the whole archetype being somewhat reworked to be playable and feature the new keywords. I think one of the major fears of spies becoming popular is they're gonna fill your side of the board. Is that something you are actively thinking about? Is that something you guys worry about when reworking spies? Because as you can judge by Panda's tweets, filling your side of the board is not a great thing.
Yeah, sure. It's definitely something the team thinks about. Deciding on the abilities of the cards. I think there's a middle ground somewhere between having a healthy spy archetype and having an archetype that just fills your board with cards. So I think obviously as a player playing against spies, you will always have to keep in mind that they can play cards on your side. So you don't want to fill your melee row yourself. And it is just something you plainly have to play around, which I don't think is a bad thing inherently. I think if you know, okay, I'm playing against a spy archetype, or I'm playing against, I don't know, Novigrad in general, you will be a bit more careful. It's the same with monsters. Like, for example, in the old days, playing against Neckers, you would never give them a long round or let them develop their engines because you know what happens if you do that. And there were some cards at the start that were designed a bit dangerously, I would say, with this danger in mind of filling the board, but they were changed. So I think right now we're hitting this middle ground, but obviously we'll have to see when it comes out.
Okay, and I promise this is gonna be the last question about spies. And feel free to give me a no comment. But I thinking about beta spies, I need to ask this question: is there gonna be a spy Tudor? Because Rainfire served as one back in beta.
It's a good question. I'm not sure. We'll have to find out.
Yeah, I doubt Pavel is in the chat. Just give you a green light to review this. Pavel, if you're watching, just I don't know, wink, nudge. I don't know. Just give Ryan a sign.
He's not in the chat. He's in the room.
Just imagine Busha walking in. But I think it would be your room, Hester, because you are in Warsaw.
True.
No, actually, not in Warsaw, but yeah, in Poland. He could be here. It's possible, technically.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, right. You're not in Warsaw, but you know, Busha has many talents. Maybe he possesses the ability to teleport. You never know with this guy. Do we have more questions about the status? I think so. Villa, is there something you want to ask about the statuses?
Yeah, it's just like obviously not only statuses, but there's a bunch of new keyboards, right? So do we think, I'm asking all of you, do we think that or how much of a significant impact are these gonna have on the game? Because obviously there are cards that interact with statuses, looking at Vincent. Just like overall, how do we feel about a bunch of new statuses and keywords just in general coming into the game?
Take it away, Hessa.
Well, I mean...
Nobody wants to talk about Vincent.
Yeah, well, Vincent is... Well, he's not a problematic card, right? So
I love that card.
I can imagine that... Well, maybe some of the cards are gonna be, like, adapted, right, and reworked to accommodate to Doomed, as Kung Fu Rabbit actually pointed out in chat right now. So that might actually turn into another question, right? Are the old cards getting reworked to accommodate to Doomed or not? Or any other keywords are getting accommodated to that, right? I think Doomed is going to play a significant role in this expansion, and the meta will shift around that, I suppose. Like the card we revealed today, like the Will of Wisp, right? It can be either a pretty situational card, right? Whenever your opponent plays a Doomed unit or not, or it can be just a meta breaker, right? It can be something that is going to be played, a staple one, right? It's going to be played in every deck. If everyone plays Doomed, then this is the card you want to choose as a removal, right? It's a cheap removal for just basically anything. So it all depends on that. How significant the Doomed keyword, I think this is going to be the main one, turns out, I'd say. What do you think, Weisenberg?
Maybe that's crazy, but the first thing that came to mind upon seeing new statuses is finally I will be able to get a damn quest. There's a challenge where you have to slap like 5 statuses onto a unit. And that's always been a problem.
Yeah.
Especially when you're playing Novigrad, you are usually removing statuses and cards, not giving them something. So I think that might become a little bit easier. But overall, I like it, and I think that Villa just mentioned Vincent. I think that Vincent is gonna receive a second wave of hate because we've seen cards that boost units and give them a status, which is exactly what you are waiting for as a Novigrad player. But overall, I like it. It adds complexity to the game, and it adds more synergies to the game.
I must say, I'm really excited about the new status Veil, because it kind of comes at a time where we have a lot of statuses, but it is a status that prevents other statuses. So
Yeah.
it's different to a Purify because it won't take away anything that is already on the card. But if you slap Veil on a card, it's basically locked from for example, you get poisoned, one of your big units get poisoned, and then you put Veil on it, then you can't get poisoned again. Or you put it on a card that is like the opponent has an engine that can create bleeding, and you put Veil on your most important card, and it can't be bled anymore. At the same time, obviously, it also prevents boost from yourself. But I think with so many keywords around, Veil is a very interesting one. That
Veil on defenders.
Yeah, true.
That's something that's gonna cause some major raging, I feel like.
But you can still
You can still target
I
it.
think you can purify it.
Yeah, you can still purify.
I think you can purify Veil. It's a status after all.
Yeah, so
you cannot poison that unit anymore.
Exactly.
And I think that's a good middle ground actually, because you see a lot of people complaining about poison, complaining about double ball, and we've seen numerous cards that tackle that issue. We have the Squirrel that banishes a card from the graveyard. So basically an animalistic version of the Deathwind Arbalest. And we have Veil that prevents poison from being applied. So I think that the moment poison gets a little bit out of hand again, we actually have a fair number of cards that can counter it. I'm not sure if that's what you actually had in mind when developing Veil, but I like it. I like the idea.
Yeah, it definitely adds a lot of complexity again, right? So I can imagine like some 4-head and 5-head plays during the next open with or maybe the open after that with all the new cards.
Yep.
And this is going to be an exciting one for sure.
I'm really hoping Freddy's gonna make it to the next tournament, because oh boy, with these new maybe not the next tournament, but the tournament afterwards, because with all these new cards, I think he could come up with some really interesting ideas. I'm looking at cards like All God and stuff like that. I'm thinking, ooh, there is some serious meme potential in there. Or the Ethereal that was revealed yesterday by Thea and Lionheart. Oh, that like people are trying to think about effective ways to play it, but I think it is gonna be more of a meme card, because the odds of it sticking to the board are fairly low. But still, even if it doesn't stick, in a very specific case, it's gonna be 7 for 8, which is not terribly bad. But other than the new keywords, because I feel like we can talk about it, but without the knowledge of more cards having those keywords or interact with those keywords, it is difficult to talk about. But there's another new thing coming to Gwent, and that's the evolving cards. Is there anything you can tell us, Ryan, right now about the evolving cards that we don't know yet? Because we can talk about what we expect as a group, and we can interact with chat, ask chat what they expect, but we have a few minutes before we actually see one of them. So what can you give us, or maybe you could prepare us in a way when it comes to what we're about to see?
I myself, I'm really excited for them. I was or still am like a little bit of a Pokemon fan, and in general, just the concept of something having multiple versions and getting stronger just seems super cool to me, and I hope we see more even with the next expansions. But I think people I think what's really interesting is how they shape to influence the competitive play, because every card you add that is actually good and playable will shape the way you play Gwent in a way. So, for example, major changes to the game, obviously, like the hand limit changed the way you pass in the first 2 rounds, and I think cards that get stronger over time might also shape the way you play the game, or when, like, what the most important round is. For example, if you know your opponent is playing a card that is strongest in round 3, you might want to go for the 2-0 and bleed them even more. And so taking away the importance of the last round, maybe putting it a bit earlier, I think is an interesting way. But I think we'll have to see how the game shapes when the majority, so everybody can actually get access to these cards. And yeah, I'm super, super hyped to see that.
Are they gonna be resilient?
Are they going to be resilient? Resilient? Well, I don't know.
Oh shit.
I know it was not on the list, but I just had to ask. It's a YOLO question, you know. I learned from the master, from Jason Slama himself, and he said, if you want to ask me just some random YOLO questions, do it, because you never know what you're gonna get from me.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be my policy whenever we have somebody from CDPR on this show. Actually, guys, in chat there is a quick poll in the chat. I just dropped it there because we are 4 minutes away from the first evolving card reveal, and there's 2 major theories. One, it's Usurper, and the second one, it's Emir. So you can vote in the straw poll, and we're gonna see which
Can I vote?
option. Oh, absolutely, you can vote. I'm gonna copy the link once again and drop it in chat.
I just want to see the results, to be honest.
Oh, me?
Yeah, there's actually
Because-
one more cool question here in the chat, if I may. Cross Controller is asking if we'll be able to see all the evolved cards' arts in Deck Builder. Is it like you right click on the card and you can see it?
I'm actually not 100% sure. This could change as well. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure you see the first iteration of the card, so the base version.
All right.
And it would make a lot of sense if you right-click it, that you can see the other evolutions, basically.
Yeah,
I think
like with the
that's how-
tokens, maybe, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the way.
All right.
That's really nice. I know that Lionheart was actually leaking a little bit, because I think he's one of the very few content creators that actually have seen it. Or, you know, the way he talked about it kinda gave away that he already saw one of those cards. So I'm really interested in how these cards are gonna be like, because really 2 minutes and I'm here just waiting to see it, because it's Novigrad and I love everything Novigrad, as you can judge by this thing right there.
Well, I hope Boja is awake and not sleeping, and ready to press the button.
Oh yeah, I hope he presses that button. Yes, Flow Mega, that's color in my room.
True.
I'm just waiting here, guys. I think Ryan, that's one question I can ask in the meantime. How happy are you when people get hyped about the reveals?
I'm really, really happy. I mean, I myself, I'm super hyped for this expansion, because I feel like this expansion brings a lot of cards and a lot of, well, features to the table that people really want to see, or in general that will make the community very happy. At least the sentiment we got so far from a few very specific people was super positive, so I'm excited. And like, as a general Gwent fan, I'm excited, not as a CDPR employee, but just as a fan of the game. I'm really hyped to see what's coming to the game, and I hope that others share the sentiment. And so far it's been pretty good, so yeah, makes my job easier, obviously, if the people are happy, but it's nice. It's nice.
Yeah, I think this is what makes this job so special for you, because many people involved in Gwent, like Pavel and Jason, they were developing the game from the start, but always from the perspective of a developer. Like while you were a player, you were a community member before you joined the team. So for you, it's a completely different feeling than it is for them, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, guys, almost there. Let's see.
Almost
Let's see. Let's see. Video unavailable. Come on,
Still
Buja.
waiting.
Still waiting. I'm just hitting that refresh button.
Let me check.
Even before Buja joins the call. Feel free to invite him. Kappa. I mean, not even Kappa. Like, it would ruin the setup, but come on, Paolo is always welcome. I remember when he was on the show, when we had this idea that, you know, if you want to co-host every now and then, you can. No problem, dude.
Can we drop the link to the chat as well so that the people can...
No, because we will be showing it on stream.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Can watch it together.
That's the whole point. That's the point of timing it to 12 p.m. And we can watch it together, guys.
Yeah, well, while you do the refreshing, I think there was a funny question as well in chat earlier, which kind of like from the closed beta or general from earlier that doesn't see any player would you like to see back in the game? And just purely because of the card art and because I used to play a lot of Skellige, I would go with Heim because I think that's such a cool card. Obviously, it was a bit toxic in the past, getting your silver spies,
Yeah.
but I mean, it was a good time. It was a good time.
Oh, what was the play? Heim into Skjal? No, there was a play like that. Like it involved three
Ulrich or
cards.
something? What was he called? Was it Ulrich?
Yeah. Ulrich was a spy, right? So it was Heim
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
Skjal into Ulrich or something like that. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Still unavailable. Pavel, where are you?
Yeah, we actually have a lot of other questions in the chat as well, but we're gonna wait and to ask them until the end, I think, right? I'm like noting down some of them. So there are a lot of questions
Yeah,
about
absolutely. I'm
the
just
slaves.
Pavel is 2 minutes late already. God damn it.
It's still cycling back home, I guess.
True. But maybe.
I mean, where would be cycling from? He can't even go to work now.
Oh, he's like doing his daily trip, like casual 70 kilometers every day, you know. Easy peasy.
I think Ryan is just exchanging some messages with him right now. Meanwhile in Warsaw. Yeah, exactly, guys.
Yeah, well, we could maybe like talk a bit more about like the backstory of Gaunter, for instance, because there was a question about in the chat. I really like that one. If we are learning something more, if we are gonna learn something more about Gaunter's backstory during the expansion, maybe some quests, maybe some, you know, additional trees with the new season coming up. Can you like share some information about that, Ryan?
About the new season?
Yep. And backstory of Gaunter?
I think the general theme of the expansion is like that Gaunter had his hands and influenced a few of the key moments in the history. But I'm actually, yeah, I don't know a whole lot about that, to be honest. It's not my department. Like in Germany, we have this company called MediaMarkt and Saturn. It's like a tech company where you buy stuff. And I think every German knows the saying that if you go into these huge stores and you look for something and you find an employee and you ask them, hey, where can I find that? They just say, it's not my apartment, sorry. I work in a different section. You have to go somewhere else. Find another victim.
Another victim. Ooh, some vicious customers right there.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Pavel. Don't be like that.
I'm gonna see what I can do from my own setup. Let's see.
Hey, Jeremiah.
This is gonna
So
stick.
yeah, guys, if you just got here, we have a little bit of technical difficulties. There was supposed to be a video that we were going to show, and that video is not available yet. So Ryan right now is looking at different ways of either kicking Busha's ass remotely, or uploading the video himself, or clicking that button himself. Just don't delete it, please.
That red button.
I'm still refreshing.
Yeah, you keep on hitting that button.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you 100 views before the video is even up.
Perfect.
But yeah, I think that everyone who watched Open last weekend is used to these technical difficulties. So
Yes.
guys, please bear with us.
And it was still great. So it's worth it.
Yeah, from what I've been told, this is really worth waiting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In the meantime, Villa, the qualifiers, you qualified for 64 or also top 16?
Just 64. Yeah.
Okay. Then are you hoping to make it to the Open this time?
Of course.
That sounded very
always-
optimistic.
That's always the main goal. I mean, I know I'm gonna win, so it's gonna be
I'm
fine.
gonna be rooting for you and for Energix and for a lot of people that I actually know that made it to qualifiers this time.
Yeah.
Are we buffing
Actually,
bribery? I think. Oh yeah, Ryan. Maybe you can
Papa?
answer that one real quick.
Papa?
Any changes to bribery?
No comment.
No comments.
Okay, so
So yes.
so pretty much confirmed, guys.
Yeah.
I can sense the great Dandelion Show cry in the corner right now.
Yeah, I got the feeling that you people don't like bribery. I wonder why this is.
Yeah, I
think
love
the card-
bribery.
I think the card is absolutely fine, and we
I
should
love
have
bribery
much more
myself,
like
yeah.
it.
Yeah, like actually this season I was hoping to create some insane bribery plays, but apparently it doesn't replay every bribery. So you play it, it replays it, and then you get another replay with Stefan, but it doesn't replay it afterwards. So you cannot play 6 briberies. Because I was going to play bribery, Stefan, Kingslayer, 6 briberies, let's go. Unfortunately it doesn't work. Video unavailable.
It's been 8 minutes.
Yeah, 8 minutes.
15 years.
8 minutes. In the waiting room. So Pavel was the guy responsible for this, right?
Basically, yeah.
Basically, yeah. Didn't want to say that.
I don't have his phone number.
Blame
You
Buja.
probably do. I only have his Discord. I can try adding him to the call. I doubt he will pick up at the moment. The problem is I cannot. The call is full screen. Is there? Is there?
We'll be live shortly. Shortly. Okay. Okay.
Oh, shortly means.
At least there's a response that he's live now. He's at his PC. That's good. That's good.
Bribery should get echo. I agree. I agree with that statement. Absolutely.
I told him to ping me when it's live, and then we're all set and ready to go. What's your expectations of what these evolving cards actually like? What's the difference between the separate cards? What do you think?
It's a really good question. I honestly expect them to support different archetypes in different stages. I don't know why it's a hunch, I would say. Because when I asked about resilience, you gave me a no comment basically. So I think if they're not resilient, I think that depending on the round you play them, they're gonna be doing something different. So if you play them in round 1, they're gonna support one archetype. If you play them in round 2, they're gonna support a different archetype. In round 3, another archetype.
Yeah, that would actually make a lot of sense. You could just, depending on the archetype you play, you would play it either round 1, 2, or 3, right? So, yeah, that's a cool one. When we had actually the poll running, right? Who's the winner of the poll?
Yeah, who's the winner?
Oh, let me see. Where's the poll? I think
Oh, it is Usurper right now. 18 votes for Usurper, 14 votes for Emir, and 4 votes for other.
Let's repo. Oh yeah, there's Bing Bing. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it, dude. So yes, guys, we are running a poll, waiting for the review. We are running a poll on which character is going to be shown on the revolving card, and Usurper winning by a few votes.
Interesting.
Yeah, we have it, guys. We have it.
Ooh,
So let me get us, guys. Are we ready?
there it is.
No.
There it is.
Are we ready?
Let me tell you the tale of an emperor.
Enjoy.
No, not that fool Fergus var Emrace, the boar. This one, I believe you remember solely as the Usurper.
Introducing the Usurper, an evolving card that gains strength at the start of each round. The card depicts the Usurper's rise from lowly soldier through general, in order finally to become the Emperor of Nilfgaard. The Usurper excels at deploying spies behind enemy lines, and in final form can turn the most stalwart ally into a duplicitous foe. Seditious Aristocrats is one of the many new cards built to synergize with Usurper and flesh out the Nilfgaardian spy archetype. While a soldier at heart, the Usurper and his entourage gladly blur any lines of allegiance to achieve advantage.
Alrighty.
Ooh. Ooh.
Holy
Okay,
crap,
you know
man.
what? I'm gonna try to
I'm
actually
gonna
show.
send you the specific cards, okay?
What did you say?
Shall I send you the pictures? I think the tweets will also be live. Sure.
Absolutely. If you do it, then we can show it on screen.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, it might take a few seconds, guys. Because I would have to exit the full screen. Or maybe I can just get them from the video.
Yeah,
Because
whatever you prefer.
Yeah.
so I think that's the first stage, right? 6. Usurper officer, deploy, spawn, an operative in the opposite row. Zeal order sees all operatives at the start of round transform. That's the first version, right?
That's the first one, yeah.
Yes, sir.
It reminds me of Old Menno. I think it did something like that. It sees all spies. Back in the beta. This is really, really interesting. Oh, so 6? An operative was 3 power, I think.
Yeah, the
that's
tokens were 3.
So that's basically a 9, unless you have more operatives already on the board. Huge round finisher.
Yeah, if you use it turn 1, right? But probably you don't want to do that in most cases. But people in chat were right? The Usurper is the man.
Yeah, that's the Usurper.
Yeah.
But it says at the start of round transform. So it has to stay on the board it has to be resilient.
No, the thing is, it
No, it's in hand or
transforms-
deck,
it's
right?
In hand or deck, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, so it's actually a good thing that there is no resilience in this, because that would be definitely too good.
But wait, let me go back to the first version. Okay, so the first version transferred to the second one without any additional conditions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the second one, only if you have devotion.
Oh, okay.
The second version is deploy, spawn, and operative in each enemy row. So that's 2 guys.
Mhm.
Zeal, order sees all operatives. Devotion at the start of round transform.
So the second one is basically already 12 points for 11 provision.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a
spread
provision
across-
cost.
Yeah, it's 11 provision. And for all 3 versions, obviously, because you only pay the provision at the start for the first version. And the thing is, it always creates a mind game between leaving the operatives on the opponent's side for, I don't know, spy multipliers, and also blocking a row, for example. That's where that thing comes into play you mentioned earlier. But obviously the opponent, for example, consume the operative, and then you lose value. So it has zeal on its order, so you can get the operatives back to your side immediately. If you just want the raw point value as a round finisher, for example, as you said. But if you want to build on like the spy archetype thing, then yeah, it's a mind game between when you want to get the operatives back to your side.
Quick question. It is spawn, so it is not gonna trigger assimilate.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Is it gonna trigger Thirsty Dame?
It should. I'm pretty sure it should to trigger that, yeah.
Okay, and then we have the third version. Okay, it has Veil, so one of the new keywords. Deploy spawn an operative in each enemy row. Again, sees all enemy operatives. Whenever you play an agent, boosts so by 1. So now it's an engine.
I think that's actually not the up-to-date version in the trailer.
Oh,
The
come on,
one-
guys.
The one the thing is, these trailers, like, we've got 6 of them, so they got created earlier, obviously, and they weren't finished today. But obviously, things change in the card design, because we test the cards, and I think this one is even stronger than it says in the trailer. But obviously, if you look at on the website later today, and if you look on Twitter after we post them, you'll see the correct version. It's very similar. It's just that it says whenever your opponent plays a unit, give it spying. So basically,
Whenever your opponent plays a unit, this guy gets a boost.
No, it doesn't get a boost. But whenever your opponent plays a unit, it gets spying. So the status spying. That means it triggers Thirsty Dame every time. That means it triggers the Seditious Aristocrat. So it's definitely a card you want to remove from the board, this one. So you can still damage it, obviously. You can just deal 6 damage, but you can't lock it because it's got Veil.
Yeah.
But
you can't poison it.
You can poison it, but it definitely needs a status. A devotion, because you can only, like, that's a trade-off, basically. You've got this really strong card on the board, but for that you can't have any neutral cards on the board. So yeah.
I mean, effectively, how many neutrals are you gonna run in Novigrad if you are playing spies? Not many.
That's the question.
Because you could run, let's say, Royal Decree or Marching Orders, but you already have Godric, you already have Menno, because you're gonna play tactics. Like every Novigrad deck plays
Yeah,
tactics.
you probably
So
don't
you
need
are
them.
probably gonna thin enough to afford devotion, or maybe you're just gonna bank on the second version of the card, which is also pretty strong. But other than the Usurper, we also got Seditious Aristocrats. Deploy, boost self by 1 for every spying enemy unit. Devotion, whenever an enemy unit gains spying, boosts self by 1, so it works really, really well with the third version of Usurper. It's a 3-power unit. How many provisions?
5. The thing is, I'm pretty sure that the devotion is on the updated card is for everything, so also for the deploy effect, boost self by 1 for every spying unit. So this is a card you can only really afford to run in the devotion deck as well. But yeah, it does remind of the old Imperial Brigade.
Oh yeah. Quick question: do we have an image for the operatives, or are they just a 3-power unit, no ability, nothing?
Yeah, I think we'll post it on Monday as well on social media, but it's just a 3-point doomed token.
Okay. Really, really interesting. I'm impressed. So it is all about spying. So now we have a scenario that supports poison / statuses, and now we have also an evolving card that supports spying. Great. And
Yeah,
11 provisions,
looks really good.
it's not really that much.
Yeah, I'm gonna be interested to see what the optimal spy deck looks like, and I'm confident that
absolutely.
it's gonna be strong, and I will for sure play it as well because I really enjoyed the old spies. And I think it's something that a lot of people actually want to back in the games, like spies, please come back. On the other side, we've got a lot of new players that are really fed up with Nilfgaard, even though Nilfgaard's win rate isn't even that high, but it seems very oppressive, especially like lockdowns and this poison archetype. So I'm interested to see how the community reacts once everything is live, especially newer players.
There's one, knowing for sure that it is Usurper. Now I have a question about the Emir cards or the Emir artwork that we've seen in the trailer. Are these gonna be actual cards?
Not my department.
No,
Oh come on! Don't give him ideas.
No, I think you'll see these cards, or at least, yeah, I think you'll see them in the game. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
awesome. And I'm pretty sure this is a no comment question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Urchin of Erlenwald transforming into Duni. Is that gonna be a Nilfgaard card, or is that gonna be an R/neutral?
Let's say if he would be in the game, I'm pretty confident that he would be Nilfgaard as well. I don't think we would split those two.
Okay. All I wanted to know. Like we actually talked about this before the podcast, and I was like, "Oh, just please don't do it. Please don't make it neutral or an R. I'll be crying in the corner if you did that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
This really caught me off guard, guys. Like I completely forgot about all the questions that we have here.
Yeah, you just want to theory craft with that one.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you cannot possibly theory craft at the moment because we don't have all the cards yet.
Yeah, but
We've seen Nilfgaard in total gets 12 cards based on the Reddit post.
Yeah.
And we've seen how many? We've seen Angry Mob. We've seen the Seditious Aristocrats. That's 2. We've seen the Usurper. That's 3. What else have we seen from Nilfgaard as a? And the token. That's possibly 4.
I mean, I'm pretty sure. Actually, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure if you check on the website later when it gets updated, I think at 1 p.m. on the weekend, and it will show the new cards we revealed today. I think that the 3 Nilfgaard, like the 3 stages of Usurper, are separate entities on the website.
Okay, so they are 3 different cards.
Yeah.
And are you planning to add more evolving cards in the future? Because when the scenarios dropped, we had Jason on the show, and he said, well, we are not planning to add more scenarios in the near future. So it was basically, well, maybe at some point, but not in our direct plans, I would say. And these cards, evolving cards, are we going to see more of them? Are decks going to be restricted to only one of them? Because they seem, based on this one, they're gonna be pretty powerful, I imagine.
To be honest, this is the first time I can really say this is not my department. I don't know, but as a Gwent fan and seeing these cards, I hope so, because I think they're super cool. But I would agree that there might be a problem with having multiple evolving cards in your deck. At the same time, putting so much power onto your last 2 rounds, for example, will make it difficult. I think you don't want to stack your deck with late game cards too much, because then you just give up control of the first round. But yeah, I hope so. I think
But
really
even if you play it round 1, it's still a pretty strong card, because it's 11?
Yeah, I think it's 11 provision, 9 points if you play it at the start.
Unless you have more operatives. And that's
You've got-
another question. Are there gonna be more ways to spawn an operative?
I think this is also not 100%. I think it's only Usurper that spawns them. So it's like really close tied to the card, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I think it's only Usurper.
Alright, so 11 for 11 round 1.
9, right? 9 for 11.
Oh yeah, because I counted the...
It's only one.
Yeah, so yeah, 9 for 11 round 1, 11 for 11 round 2, 11 for 11 plus engine round 3. Okay, so I guess bleeding is gonna be the right way to play against these cards. Because you want your opponent to play it as early as possible to deny them all the additional value.
Yeah, you
Just
can
wow.
already see like the simple combo with the strategic withdrawal, right? You can already play it twice. So as the round 3 finisher, this is going to be really good.
And guys, you can play Scenario and Usurper in the same deck. Because the Seditious Aristocrats are, well, as the name suggests, aristocrats. So you can get Thirsty Dame, she's gonna get statuses, ticks from Usurper. And then you can spawn more Thirsty Dames with the Scenario.
Oh man.
So yeah, so people were worried. I'm not sure if you guys are actually gonna do that, but people were worried. Okay, if you remove the Asira and Scenario play, just remember the next patch, Asira Usurper is gonna be a thing. or because these cards are not doomed.
They're not doomed.
Yeah.
Oh my sweet Asira. It's gonna be...
You need to keep in mind it only evolves in deck or in hand. So if it's between rounds, is in the graveyard, it won't evolve.
Yeah, but that's still a strong play that you can... I mean,
Definitely.
because if you are gonna play Mana, you are losing Devotion anyway.
Oh yeah.
I think we actually exhausted this topic because there is so many questions, and I'm sure that Ryan cannot give us too many answers because the review campaign is still ongoing. But I just want to say, I feel honored that we could show this on the podcast. Of course, it was not a leak; it was not a podcast exclusive review. It also appeared on all the other platforms at the same time. But as I said before the stream, for many people, because it was not promoted, nobody knew it was gonna be 12 p.m. other than us.
That's true.
So for many people, this was actually the first source of information in this case. I'm really happy about that. And Villa, what do you think about Usurper? Because as a pro player, I think you are gonna have an opinion on that.
I think the gods, looking at every phase of the god and all the potential synergies, I think the god's gonna be pretty up there. It's gonna be quite strong. Obviously it's hard to tell how strong when we haven't seen all the possible interactions with the other gods coming, but I've already got this kind of hunch that this is gonna be very, very strong in the meta, and it's gonna probably shape it at least towards some direction.
Yeah, I think so as well. And actually, another quick question related to the Spine archetype, because we have the old Pew Pew boys, the Impera Enforcers. Is Spawn gonna give them another tick? Because I think it says play. Are they gonna be reworked to whenever a spying unit appears? Because if so, having them whenever your opponent plays a spying card with Usurper Stage 3, oof. It's a big oof.
I'm actually not sure. It might
And
be.
the same applies to Rainfarn.
Yeah. I think there are cards getting small, like really small tweaks, so they work and synergize with the new ones. I'm not sure which exactly, so I can't say if it's this one or another one, but there are cards like that. And same goes for cards like I think right now the what's she called? The Duchess Informant that copies a card. I think it says non-loyal or something, and it will just be non-spying right
No.
now. So you can't copy a spy. It
No,
has
that would
to
be
be
crazy because they would just copy informants and basically play Novigrad version of Rats.
exactly.
Much easier to set up because you copy, you play, you copy, you play.
And then
Basically old Slave Driver.
Mhm.
Oh, the old beta Slave Driver. I think it even made it to one of the tournaments. I'm not sure. When you know when you could create a Slave Driver from Slave Driver.
Yeah. Oh my god. the whole thing,
fun
because
times. Fun
there
times.
were like, I think it was the problem with premium slave drivers and non-premium slave drivers. Like, it had in the card text that you weren't allowed to do that. But I think if your opponent had premium slave drivers or something like that, then you could still copy him. This endless circle.
Okay, guys, so that's it when it comes to reveals today, but there's still some things I want to talk about because we have like half an hour. So I want to touch upon the topic of Gwent Open because there's possibly some leaks to be had in that garden. So Gwent Open, it took place last week and it was the first time we had a remote tournament. So my first question within that segment is going to be, how difficult was it to organize? And did you feel any kind of time pressure when putting it together? And did it speed up the progress on the spectator mode? Because when it comes to that specific mode, I remember Pavel telling me this is not our priority. Then I remember Jason saying we are working on that, and apparently now it is working. At least for the purpose of official tournaments.
Yeah, right now we obviously are testing a lot. With the whole online situation and no LAN tournaments, it did raise the priority on these kind of things a lot. I think we really tried to not delay the open any further. It was already delayed once, 1 month, right? It was supposed to be last month, not this one, or like 2 months ago, not last month, and that obviously brought a lot of technical questions, and it was the first time we had it in this full online scenario. So there were a lot of things that we couldn't know from the start, or things that were out of our hands. But we learned a lot from the first time, so I'm very confident that the next one will be even better. And as you mentioned, it's right before the release of the expansion. It's like on the 27th and 28th, and the expansion comes on the 30th. So you can expect a lot more leaks and just a general reveals and looks into the new expansion coming in the next open.
All right. But when is it going to be available to the public to organize custom tournaments, or you don't have a timeline on that?
Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon.
And with that being said, I think that tournaments are more. It's not really my department. I'm not a competitive player. I don't help organize them in any form or shape. So I think with that being said, I'm gonna give the word to Villa and Hesse to run this segment.
Yeah, okay, so Ryan and Hesse obviously both worked on Gwent Open and are gonna work on Gwent Opens for the future as well. So, like, can you share behind the scenes perspective with us, what's going on behind the scenes, and like how did the players adapt to an online setting for this open, and what kind of issues did you run into? Like, what was the most common issue, and kind of this kind of stuff. If you can shed some light on, it'd be great.
I mean, as Hessa can say as well, it requires a lot of communication. And so it was really good that he was there, because we had obviously 3 Chinese players, 2 of them that don't speak English. And it obviously, being in a different environment than their normal pro rank grinding session, requires a lot of back and forth, making sure that everything is correct. And obviously that takes some time. But I think it was super important to have Hessa there as a translator on set, basically. But yeah, I think you could say a bit more about that as well.
Oh yeah, that was a bit different actually. For me, for example, the communication face to face with the players is a bit easier than just talking with them via Discord, for example, or whatever other platform it may be. So yeah, there were some issues with that, but it all ended up pretty well. They could actually understand a lot as well, because we were mainly typing. It was not only the voice communication all the time, so they could just translate some stuff quicker with just the help of Google Translate or whatever translate they use. Like the Chinese players, for example, they are using different platforms than Google, right? Because Google is banned in China. So that was problematic as well for them, I guess. But it was an interesting experience for sure. But I personally hope that it's all going to get back to normal quickly, because it's much more convenient in terms of the translating, at least.
Yeah, and I think in general, figuring out how to work with so many people across the globe is always a challenge. But I think, at least I thought that day 2 of the Open went a lot smoother, and people really, it was a much more enjoyable experience as a viewer. So I think it showed to us that it can work, and that we definitely want to go ahead with the next Open.
One thing that really surprised me, and that's not really a question, it's more of a comment, is the production value. Because looking at the developer streams held remotely, I expected this tournament not to look too great in terms of production, visuals, etc. And then you guys knocked it out of the park. The transitions, the presentation, the casters did an amazing job. Like I just realized that it's not the studio that creates the atmosphere, it's the whole setting, it's the dynamics between Magbeard and Flake, and then Panda and Jaguars, that really create the atmosphere around the tournament. So it was a lot of fun watching, even despite the technical difficulty. And maybe I could sneak a minor question there. Do you guys have any plans on reducing the time, lowering the length of the tournament? Because I think the first day was 9 hours and 18 minutes. It was a marathon.
It was a long work day, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we want to reduce the games, but obviously the downtime, the time it took to get the players into the games, that is something we're working on. So I think if like day 2 obviously had less games, but also ran a lot smoother, I think if it goes like that during the next Open, then it won't be 9 hours plus. But I don't know, if people draw 5 games in a row, then it will be difficult to make it shorter. But yeah, from our end, we're definitely working on that.
And another thing that we definitely need to talk about, and I think that's one of the Hessers.
That's right. The prize
questions
pool.
is the prize pool.
The
Yeah,
prize
so
pool.
go ahead.
Yeah, I was like super surprised with the results of the community contribution, right? So that was the first time I think Gwent did that. The Gwen team did that. So Ryan, what's your take on that model? I think it worked out really well, and we got a lot more money in the prize pool. The players are happy about that. They what was the way of splitting that money as well? Could you shed some light on that as well?
I'm also really happy about the amount that came together. Obviously, we did have a bit more time for this bundle to sell, because the open was moved by 1 month. I think the next one, like the time frame of people to buy the next bundle, is a lot shorter.
yeah.
It's from 1 month just to the end of the next month. So I don't expect it to be that high, but at the same time, Open 2 bundle I think looks really cool. I personally prefer the second bundle to the first one. But I think that's just a preference. I think people that want to support esports don't really care too much about that anyways. But I think splitting the cash between the players, I don't think I can go into a lot of detail, but I think Vlad, obviously our head of esports there, communicated with the players beforehand, before the tournament started, on how we want to tackle this. And the communication we did beforehand was, we're going to split it and add it to the players' prize pool, basically. And I think there's different strategies when it comes to that. You can either say, okay, you split it exactly the same way as you would split the normal already existing prize pool, or you just split it onto the 8 players, so they gain like a head start for their winnings. I think for this time, this was actually pretty good, because then everybody had a piece of the cake, even if they lost in the first round. But if the money contributed by the community is way more than the one like the existing prize pool, it does diminish the value of actually achieving that first or second place. So I think there has to be a middle ground somewhere between that. But obviously, nothing is set in stone right now, and we'll have to see how much money contributes to the second one. So, yeah.
Yeah, that made a lot of sense actually for me, because you had to reward somehow people who took part in the exhausting qualifications, right? The qualifiers. So yeah, that makes sense.
There's one important thing that you said there, and that's that the time window between Open 1 and 2 is much shorter, and that's something I'm actually very excited about. Because, guys, I'm not sure if you were aware, but we're actually 3 weeks away from the next Open, and I'm already excited. I love tournaments. Almost every single stream I've been saying, this game needs more tournaments desperately. And we had one Open, and then a month later we have another one. But I think that we have some questions about the format of this Open.
Yeah, so just, is the Open 2 going to be held remotely? I mean, I assume it is. But is there a chance it's gonna return to the old setting? And if there is, how soon do you think that is? I mean, obviously it's hard to determine with the COVID, but is there a general kind of plan or a time frame for this kind of thing to put in motion again?
I think the next one is definitely going to be remotely again, online completely. We definitely want to get back to the studio, obviously, because it makes things a lot easier for us. Puts a lot more things into our control. But the thing with flying everyone to the studio is, obviously not every country is at the exact same spot when it comes to recovering from this virus. So even if in Poland, for example, everything is cool and everyone can go back outside, doesn't mean that everybody in the world can, and we can't fly in people from, I don't know, like America, for example, right now. So I think we are gonna wait and see. Obviously, I think everybody that says, I know exactly how the situation is gonna play out over the next few months is talking BS, because it's a very difficult situation to predict. So yeah, I think the next one's going to be online. After that, we'll have to see how the situation is and how quickly we can get players back into the studio. But for now, it's wait and see and go along with online for then. Obviously, it's a bit different for the Masters, so the final of the first season, and obviously also of the second season. We don't really like the idea of having that online, which is why the first season final still hasn't happened yet. because it's a grand event. It's a grand finale of a long season, especially the first one, spanning over multiple years. So yeah, it has to be something grand and epic, and also just be worth it for the players, for the production value, and for the company. So I think, yeah, we'll have to wait and see, but we're always trying to have multiple options ready, depending on how the situation plays out.
Okay, and I think I'm gonna sneak another question in there. Considering that the second Open is gonna be held remotely, as you just said, are we gonna see hosts and analysts return the setting? Because of course, the first Open you were just trying to test how it works. So are we gonna see only the 4 casters, the 2 duos that we saw the first Open, or is there gonna be more people involved in the production in terms of analysis or just overall hosting of the event?
I think we're looking of ways to make the online broadcast more similar to our offline events, but yeah, nothing's really set in stone yet. So I think Borja is eager to get back in front of the camera for once, but other than that, yeah, I can't really say right now.
Yeah. Because one thing that I noticed is, would it be possible to actually have part of the event held at the studio? For example, hosting. I think it could be done at the location in Warsaw, right? Like have 2-3 people do that and a couple of crew to make it happen. To just kind of give you the vibe of an offline setting.
Yeah, it's definitely a consideration. Right, like for the last one, it wasn't possible for multiple reasons, but depending on how the situation plays out until the end of this month, then this is definitely something we're looking into.
Okay. I know enough. Guys, do we have any more questions about the Opens? Other than a few announcements. 27, 28 of June. So 3 weeks away. Do you guys remember from the top of your head who is going to participate? I think Red Rain made it.
Yep.
And then actually not sure, I don't remember.
We have actually 3 players from Russian-speaking countries, I think, right? We got Magpie for sure.
Oh, Magpie.
We got Ilyuha from Russian, right? There's one more, as far as I remember. Wang ID is also going to participate as well.
So you have already 4 or 5 players?
Yep. And Tailbot and Camps probably too.
Camps
right?
in there as well, yeah.
Yeah. I think this is it, right?
I think so. I don't have the list in front of me right now, but that sounds
me
reasonable.
neither. Should have thought about it beforehand.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because I was checking how many Russian and Chinese players do I have for the next Open. So yeah, this is gonna probably it.
Just calculating your fee. Like, okay, this many players, I have to send Buja this kind of invoice. How much do you charge per hour, Kappa?
Not my department, Kappa.
But speaking of your department, Ryan, I think it's we have 12 minutes left before you have to run, so I think we can quickly go over to the personal Q&A. We have a couple of questions there, so take as much time as you need to answer them. Give us as much as you can. And the first question will be, this was your first tournament as an employee. So how would you describe your experience? So the difference between being a viewer and then being an employee actively working on the setting.
I would say it's a mixture between proud, exhausting, very happy. It just feels good to be part of the team and to actually be able to convert my passion into work. Like, as I said, I've been working for roughly 2 months now, and the days just fly by because I don't really look at the time. Or when I look at the time, it's more of a shit. I need to get this done before then, and I need to get this out. I need to prepare this, and it is obviously exhausting also to work on the weekends and especially for these long hours. And day one was even rougher because I was also moderating the chat. So as you can imagine, having 45-minute delay really messes with the chat. And as a moderator, just having these messages fly by at the same time, and you have to check, okay, I have to ban that, I have to ban that, I have to ban that. That is pretty exhausting. But overall, I think it's really cool if you see that the final product turns out as you envision it. And it's really cool to be a part of it. So I really enjoy it.
And another question, and I think that's something I'm really, really interested in, is how did you land this position? How did you get to work with CDPR? Because of course, as I told you guys before the podcast, I knew about that before it was announced. It was a pure accident. Like, nobody really told me, okay, you are the one supposed to know that. It was more like Jason just YOLO telling us things. And he said, okay, we hired Ryan Godric. And I was like, oh shit, I need to talk to Ryan, but do I do it before the announcement? No, I think I'm gonna wait. So I've been waiting to ask this question for a very long time. How did that happen?
I think I just applied. Last year there was a job application on Twitter that I saw from the company saying,
Oh,
"Hey, we
the
want
one where Pavel said he's making good coffee." I think so. Like, I think he mentioned it as one of the perks of working with him.
That could be. I'm still yet to enjoy that coffee he makes, because obviously I haven't been to the studio after I joined the team. But I think obviously I was very eager to work with them because I've been to Warsaw twice. I've been in contact with the company. I enjoyed my time there very much, and I think my application was good enough that they invited me back for an interview and for like some test work and that kind of stuff. So in general, I was very happy to take this position on myself and to take some work off of Borja and develop the communication into a new era. But I don't know what much there is to say. I mean, I've been part of the community, so I think Borja and a couple of people that had a say in this decision already knew me, so they knew I was passionate about the game, that I want to create content for the game. They can obviously judge my art or my way to communicate online from what they saw from me in the past. So I think that always influences this. So if you ever feel like you want to be part of something, I don't know, as I think it was Flake mentions so often, hard work pays off.
Yeah, it's actually the question that we ask almost everyone who works with CDPR in one way or another. We also asked like how he landed the gig, and McBeard and Jaggeris. So it's a cool story, because I still remember you streaming Thronebreaker. Like, for me, that's the embodiment of your career as a content creator, the Thronebreaker streams. And then one thing that I will always remember is I'm watching the stream, casually following the story, and you just say in the middle of the stream, okay guys, that's it for now. I'll see you next time. Just because you were recording this for YouTube, and that was the end of the episode.
Yep. That was the start of my YouTube channel. I thought, yeah, I'm gonna put this on YouTube, and then I think I uploaded 4 or 5 videos, and then it stopped because I thought, come on, nobody watches that anyway, so I'm just gonna stream the game and enjoy my time and put more work into Gwent videos, like deck explanations and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you were actually involved in a lot of projects, but I think the next question that's not my department again is gonna review more on that.
Yeah. So actually, Ryan, what changed now that you work at CDPR? Is your like job affecting the other projects that you might be involved in at the moment? Tell us more about that.
I mean, obviously, before that, I was part of Team Artusa and planning content with them, and that obviously changed because you can't really be part of one team and be like a objective community specialist. And also, obviously, I don't have the time to do that anymore. I also casted a few games in the past for some, I think I casted one Chinese or actually a Korean tournament and I don't see myself doing that right now. My stream is on hold, but that was on hold before I joined the company as well, because I had a lot of IRL stuff to do, like finishing my my bachelor thesis and that kind of stuff. But in general, projects, I had a few video projects lined up. I don't have the time right now to do that, but I think, like, for example, streaming, once I get to Warsaw and I have a bit more time in the evening. Obviously, right now I'm spending it a lot with friends and family, right here in Cologne, just for the last couple of weeks. But once I move there, I think, and I hope that I have good internet, and then I'll be able to do a bit as well. And yeah, just be in contact with community members.
And to kind of finish this segment, a few random follow-up questions. Number one, what about your D&D sessions with Green Cricket?
Oh, I still enjoy these very much, and we're planning them, so I have time to attend those as well. And obviously that's like a fully private thing, so it's completely separated from my work life. Obviously we joke a lot about, Ryan, what can you tell us about the next expansion? What's coming to Gwent?
Of course. Like you
with
landed
everyone.
the job, you knew it. You knew that everyone you've ever known within the community is gonna be, hey Ryan, how you doing? It's been a long time, my friend.
Yeah, it's been a long time, man. Do you have a card for me?
And another question is, are you learning Polish?
Oh, I will be when I move there, because then I'll attend some Polish lessons. Right now, not a lot. I haven't spent any time learning it in particular, besides from the few words I caught on when I was in Poland myself. So I don't know. I know the dziękuję, I know the dzięki, the dzień dobry, the
And
tak, and
Pączki.
And Bunchki.
But yeah, I think I'll learn a bit more once I get there.
Hester, what is the most useful Polish word that you would teach Ryan? Because Ryan, if you already know, Hester is our language freak. He knows a lot of things. He teaches languages himself. So if you need somebody to give you a few lessons, here's your man. So the most common words that you can give away right now. Free of charge.
I would say that the most important word is actually proszę, if you want to be really polite and ask about something, right? But Ryan probably knows this one already, so yeah, that is the key word that you got to use a lot in Poland, because actually Polish people are pretty, pretty polite comparing to other Slavic countries, to be honest, especially the eastern ones.
So to cut this topic right here, to stop it right there, guys, I think it's the sellout time. So we arrived at the end of the podcast because Ryan has to run in a couple of minutes. Guys, if our viewers feel the need, find you online, where can they do so? And I'm gonna start with Ryan.
Oh, you can find me on Twitter, obviously. Ryan Godric, on Discord as well sometimes. And in general, I did stream in the past, so I have still my Twitch account and my YouTube account. But yeah, if you want to get in contact with me on all things regarding Gwent, you can shoot me a DM on Twitter, and I'll get back to you, hopefully during the same day, depending on the work. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay, once again, thanks for being here, and now I'm gonna give the opportunity to Villa, our pro man.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and Twitch sometimes. Same name, Villa KSK. And if you do randomly see me stream, please subscribe. I like money, and I can very much use it.
Twitch Prime.
Yes, I like money. Please, Kiev.
Okay, Hester, my man.
You got me there. Okay, yeah. Well, you can find me at Hester Tavern at Twitch. That would be the best way to find me right now.
Anymore.
They can't. Yeah, you can't find me on Twitter anymore because I'm suspended because I posted some naked photos, Kappa. Unfortunately. But yeah, Twitch is the only place for now, right? It's Hester Tavern. I'm going to stream actually after our podcast today, so feel free to jump in and say hi. And yeah, sorry for not answering all the questions today and not asking them because our time is quite limited. So hopefully we're gonna do that next time.
Okay, right on. I'm not gonna
What about
promote myself because you are already on my channel, so I'm gonna take this opportunity and remind you that if you wanna stay in touch off stream, you can follow us on Twitter at Novigrad Podcast, and that this episode is going to be uploaded onto YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts within the next couple of hours. So once again, Ryan Hesevilla, thanks for being here. I think that was a good premiere of the 3rd season of our show. Thanks for all the links and all the information that you were able to give us today. I'm still stunned by the video. I feel like the podcast took a very chaotic turn around that time because I was just waiting for the video. I forgot about questions. I just wanted to see it. And after I saw it, I was like, okay, where's my deck builder? So once again, everyone, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. As I already said, the episode is going to be available on other platforms within the next couple of hours. So, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot.
It was a
I'm gonna
pleasure.
go outside and use my voice. So
use your democratic rights.
Exactly. People, go on the streets.
Okay, guys. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. I think we are going to announce the next guest in a couple of days, right? So, yeah, take care. Enjoy your Saturday, and we'll see you guys later.
Yeah, have a great one.